Hello BGM3, good afternoon. How are you today, great minds? I'm so glad to be with you today. Hope you have been practicing. Hope you are noticing notable progress on your instruments. I'm sure you are. Please don't stop practicing. Don't stop rehearsing. You're always an inch to getting better. You're always an inch. You're always closer to breaking the limits on your fingers and in your mind. So please don't stop. Today, I would love to introduce you to patterns. I know some of us know patterns already, but I would love to introduce you to patterns and ways in which you can approach and apply patterns. You've heard of patterns, just like you hear or you see patterns. You also hear patterns. For example, looking at this handkerchief, you would observe that there is a pattern in which the wool around here was built, or let me say was put together. There's a pattern. It has these dotted patterns, more like. So this pattern is actually reoccurring around, even though they are not on the same position, but is reoccurring around. So we have a row of the pattern, we have another row, we have columns of the pattern. Yes, it's the same pattern, but they are occurring at different positions on the handkerchief, and it's these patterns that actually make it sweet to clean your face. Without these patterns, there's really nothing to hold your sweat. Yes, so patterns. Every day we hear patterns and we play patterns. Sometimes we look at people and we say, wow, I love your pattern. I love the way you do things. That means the person has a sequence, or the person has a familiar way of doing something. So today, I bring to you patterns. Probably in a way you've not heard it before, and probably in a way you've heard before, but this will be more like a reminder and probably extend your knowledge about patterns. So basically, we have patterns all around our fretboard. If you even look around, basically looking around or merely looking around your fretboard, you discover there are patterns all around. One pattern is the way in which the consistency of the frets are. Even though they are wider than each other at some point, but there's a consistency in the build up of your fretboard. So also we could have patterns on different positions on our scales. So today I'll be focusing on 3 scales and their patterns. The major scale, the pentatonic scale, and also the whole tone scale. What is our major scale? Our major scale on the key of C is simply C, D, E, F, G, H, no, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and the octave, C. So that's simply on the key of C, that's Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. That's what it means. So now I'll be introducing you to patterns, or patterns in which you can run those notes, and quite a number of ways or times that they have been applied. Just a minute. So quite a number of ways in which these patterns, yes, have been applied. So now one way I'll show you, or one of the patterns I will show you, or let me say I introduce you to patterns on the major scale, but now I'll be playing on the key of C or D major. Now, most times people refer to this as the first pattern because you are striking every note just once. Sometimes people play these notes 10 times, 4 times, 6 times. Those are patterns in which they run the major scale. Now, I need you to understand that if you're running a pattern on a major scale, just know that you have to restrict your notes to the major scale. So now if I'm to run my second pattern, it simply would be Now, that's my second pattern because I played every note twice. Now, my third pattern will be this. ascending. So what I did was, if you observed, I ran every sequence on the pattern 3 times. 3 times. So that means I ran my first note, taking 3 notes, 2 other notes from my first. So now the second note on the major scale, which happens to be Re, now becomes the next set of notes. Now the note after Re becomes my new note. The next note becomes my next new note. Same thing. So that's pattern of 3 on my third pattern. My fourth pattern, just like we've been moving, will definitely now be 4 notes on the major scale running concurrently with each other. So 4 notes will simply mean, now count 1, 2, 3, 4. Now my second note, which is Re, will now be Re, Mi, Fa, Sol. Next note, Mi, Fa, Sol, La. Next note. Next note. That was descending. Now ascend. That's pattern 4. So what do you think would be pattern 5? Sorry. You can continue, but just make sure you're on the major scale. That's pattern 5. Now, what would pattern 6 be? Simply, that's pattern 6. You run up to pattern 7, which will end on your 7th. Now, this is just the elementary pattern. What makes it sound quite elementary is because I've not added speed to it. That's just simply the secret. Now, let me show you a perfect example, which I feel we would all know as church-based players, is the intro on Igwe. I think it went this way. So now what they did here was, so they played the pattern of 4, not 3, sorry. They played the pattern of 4. That's Mi. This is just a passing note. The full note is. So that's what they did there. That was a direct implication or application of patterns. Yes. So now I'll move to our next scale to break down patterns again. And I'll be playing the next scale I'll be playing is our pentatonic. We all know our pentatonic scale is basically a whole tone, assuming we're playing on the key of D steel, a whole tone, a tone and a half, a whole tone and a half, and a whole tone. Now, the beauty that makes some of these notes or some runs sound so sweet is the speed and the dynamics applied. So, for example, you hear, I'm just taking that off our study now. I think the pentatonic scale is one of the scales that is most used right now, because there are so many things you can do with your pentatonic, both as a major pentatonic and as a minor pentatonic. So on our major pentatonic, I'll be breaking down patterns just the way I did on the major scale. Pattern 1, ascending. Pattern 2, you observe I'm just playing on 1 octave for now. Pattern 3, Pattern 4. I played that faster. So now I could actually go further and play up until my pattern 5. Now what makes it sweet is sometimes people could combine patterns. They combine a pattern 2 with a pattern 3. You combine a pattern 3 with a pattern 5. You combine a pattern 1 with a pattern 2, or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, based on how many octaves you're trying to express. So the beauty is that you can combine and still meet up with your groove, especially when you're playing as a groove bass player. For example, I'm playing this. Now that was just an elementary example. You can see I combined several patterns together to achieve more like feels on my bass line, on my quick elementary bass line. Let me put it that way. So these patterns can actually be permutated, combined in a way to achieve the pleasantness of music. For example, I sometimes play this. Now that's pattern of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still my pentatonic, but now it sounds quite different because I'm playing it with some level of speed, or playing it on the higher register of the bass guitar. And I added some dynamics. So those are patterns. Even your regular, I know if you watch Newsline back then, or even right up until now, you'd hear something like. That's what they play on Newsline. And that's actually your pattern of 3. Wherever you're starting from on the pentatonic scale, it could be your first note, your third note, you can play your patterns on it. Here, I'm starting from the 4th note on the pentatonic scale. So I'm playing Sol, La, Do. Now, that's pattern 3. Picking 3 notes in a sequence. Sol, La, Do. Now, the next note after Sol is La. So I'm going La, Do, Re. The next note after La is Do, Do, Re, Mi. Next note after Do is Re. Next note after that is Mi. I could continue. Now, that's the sweet part of patterns, that you can combine and achieve what you want. I could even make a combination of patterns on my major scale and patterns on my pentatonic scale. So here, taking still the key of D major, I could go. So when I went. Now listen again. Oh, sorry. I combined. Now, I could also use backward movements on my pentatonic. On my major scale, now I could go. So instead of going, I'm now going backward instead of moving forward. Let me play it slowly. So if I would play that with speed, that was with speed. So patterns. Now I move on to our whole tone scale. Our whole tone scale is simply whole tones throughout from your root note. Whole tones throughout. I wouldn't want to break that down, or let me break it down anyway. I just feel it's something you should be able to pick, but I'll break it down. Whole tones throughout. Whole tone, whole tone, whole tone, whole tone, whole tone, whole tone. So now if I'm to play my pattern of 1, simply this. If I'm to play my pattern of 2, pattern of 3, pattern of 4, now you can keep going on and on to your pattern of 5 and try and make a combination of these patterns. Now I'm going to give you a short assignment, a quick and a brief one. So I would love you to make a combination of patterns from your major scale. I want you to use a combination of 2 or pattern of 3 on your major scale, pattern of 3 on your pentatonic scale, and pattern of 3 on your whole tone scale. Now I want you to make a combination of them in probably just a 30 seconds video and send to me. Just 1, 2, 3. Major scale pattern of 3, major scale pattern of pentatonic scale pattern of 3, and whole tone scale pattern of 3. No breakage. I want you to make a combination. I wouldn't want to play it so that there won't be an expo. I want you to make a combination of 3 of them and upload to the group, or if you are shy, you can upload directly to me so I could correct you on it. God bless you. Have a beautiful day. Please don't stop practicing. Please don't stop. It's very important. No matter how much I teach you here, if you don't practice, it will be very, very difficult for you to make notable progress and improvements. Thank you so much. God bless you. Have a lovely day. Bye.